Welcome to the Open Door Podcast, your key to exploring the vibrant tapestry of real estate, lifestyle, and community in the greater Boston area.
Join us as we unlock the doors to captivating homes, delve into the essence of local life, and weave through the rich threads of community stories. I'm Melanie Gundersheim.
And I'm Margie Gundersheim, and we're thrilled to be your guides on this journey. Let's swing open the doors to Boston's dynamic landscapes and discover the heart behind the people and the places.
This is the Open Door Podcast,
where homes, lifestyles, and communities converge. Welcome back to the Open Door Podcast. We are so excited to be here with you.
Welcome back.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about what the steps are to become a real estate professional in Massachusetts. We're going to share our experience and
this is only for Massachusetts. It's different state to state. So we're kind of talking on Mass, our experience, and what we have to do. And
just a general outline.
Yeah, exactly.
So step one is you enroll for a Massachusetts real estate salesperson's license course, 40 hours.
Yep.
And I did mine in person. I don't know if you can do it online these days.
Now, I don't know. Probably. Maybe if there's like a mandatory cameras on situation, but we both did ours in person. So I don't know.
And I remember when I enrolled, there were all these different options for timing. Some people could do it over 2 full weekends, just back to back to back each course. And there were, other timelines. For example, you could do it in a couple of months, or you just have to complete all the elements of the course.
Right.
But I knew myself. I was a mom of 2 kids at that time, 2 busy kids. I had a preschool that I ran that was mine. And I also knew what my bandwidth was for studying, et cetera.
Right.
So what I did is I did it over, I believe it was a 2 or 3 month period. And I took 2 courses twice a week, and let's say Tuesday, Thursday. I did take Tuesday, Thursday. So I would get home every night on Tuesday and Thursday, and I would take complete and total notes again on everything I learned, because I knew when I went to take the test, I needed all of this stuff like hammered into my brain.
Right.
I knew I was not the type of person that over 2 weekends could nail all this information. So I made note cards and studied through Thursday, and then I would take the next 2 courses. So over a 2 or 3 month period, I had all of my note cards, and then each week I reviewed all of them.
Yeah.
And then I left myself 2 months to study, and then I took the test. So that's what I did.
I did not. I did the crunch time course because I had just graduated college. So I was very used to crash studying, taking exams, studying for finals. Like I literally had just come back from 4 years of doing that. Plus, I really wanted to get going. So I did the 2 or 3 weekend class with Mike. I can't remember his last name, but it was in Dedham. He was awesome. He was so wonderful. And got my 40 hours in that way, and then studied and signed up for my exam through that summer. So it happened pretty quickly for me just because I wanted to jump right in and be able to accompany you on showings, do showings for you, listen in on conversations, and really absorb everything right away. So that's what I did.
I was so excited when you got your
Me too.
When you got your license. Super excited. But what I realized when I got my license is that I had no idea how to run a business. And I don't think that real estate professionals know that you're running your own business.
Here's the thing. So you do the 40 hours, you get signed off on that, and then you take the exam. You have to pass the Massachusetts portion and the national portion. In my opinion, that does not, and I can imagine and know that there are a lot of other real estate professionals who we're close to agree with us, that does not prepare you for what the world of being a realtor is. It's a lot of basic information legally that you have to know, but just because you pass a test does not mean you're going to be a good realtor. You have to learn how to run a business. You have to learn the ins and outs of the business, how to communicate properly. There's so many things that you need to do and learn in order to be a solid professional. So when people say, oh, I'm just going to get licensed and work part-time, and then it's A, not a part-time gig, and
No.
B, in my opinion, I think that because it's such a low lift, the standards to enter this business are pretty low. Those folks who don't take this business seriously give us a bad reputation. So, because anybody, Tom, Dick, and Sally can sign up for the exam and take the course and pass, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a high quality professional. So I have issues with that. I don't know how you feel, but.
I totally agree. I think that, there is a low threshold to get your license, but I do think that people that do understand that they need to build a business, that they have to have a plan, that they have to invest in certain things, that they have to know how to create a database and how to stay in touch with that database and stay in touch with people. I know that the people who connect with the right people to understand all the intricacies of what we do every day, from the listing side through the buy side, and that's experience that gives you that. You have to have somebody, a mentor, who's willing to let you tag along and have you learn the conversations and listen to the phone calls and sit in on presentations. And, this is high-level legal stuff.
Yeah. I would, if I were looking at a stranger, or if someone's listening to this podcast considering getting into the real estate world, I would say there's kind of this 3-prong approach. Number 1, take your class because you have to, and it's good learning. Number 2, pass the test because you have to. And the next thing you should do is really join a team or find a mentor. If you are jumping into this alone with no understanding of market dynamics, macro and micro, proper conversations you need to have, especially with everything going on legally, how to build systems and show your value of who you are as a professional. There's so many things that you don't know, that you're not taught through the course and through the exam, of how to survive and thrive in this industry. So again, for anyone listening, that would be the number 1 thing, is after you pass, go find somebody that you trust, that you want to learn from, that maybe you have, a similar, that they inspire you of how you might want to run your business one day, and really see this as you building your business. It's not just selling a house here and there. I mean, these are people's biggest assets, and that is nothing to take lightly at all. So that would be my 2 cents, is to do what you need to do in order to have your license, take the course, take the test, and then go find a mentor to be able to really learn the ins and outs of everything that goes on in the real estate world.
One of the most helpful things to me when I started was the office I was in used to have a weekly meeting called E-Club, and anyone in the office could show up, and the company could show up, and people raised issues that were coming up with their transactions to try to brainstorm about how to do it better, or what could I have done differently, or this is what worked for me and I found this to be really successful, or is it legal if I do this, that, or the other thing? And I learned a lot from those. And I couldn't participate and offer information because I didn't know enough yet, but my takeaways were really great. It was one of the best foundations of my of my learning curve.
Yeah, and that's how I felt having you as a mentor, as I was able to really just be a sponge. Before I transacted, before I did my first sale, I just listened and learned. And I'm very visual, and I learn best when I don't know what kind of learning it is, but when you're in it.
Kinesthetic. You're
great.
Yeah.
That.
You're
and
interactive learner.
Right. And that's how I was able to absorb information the best. And then I literally started speaking like you, which we always have. And people always say we've always had very similar mannerisms, but language patterns, communication skills, certain conversations that I would be so afraid to have if I didn't have someone, if I hadn't heard them. Obviously, I, learned through osmosis as a kid of you doing this when I was young. But as someone who I knew this was going into my career, I was able to just sit back and just literally be a sponge to everything. And if you don't do that, then you don't know. And then you unfortunately might develop or create, poor business, manners, not have proper conversations that you need to have, not know how to handle situations, not know realtor to realtor etiquette,
Right.
which can be make or break on a transaction.
Yes.
Because people can guide their clients to if you have a relationship and someone's presenting an offer in a certain way positively, they can guide you to work with higher quality professionals. And if you're not one of those, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So point being is there's so many more ins and outs than just taking the test and taking your class. And part of me wishes there was a higher barrier to entry so that, we could make a better name for the realtors out there. And it's really only the serious people who want to do right by their clients. But that's not the case. So, but it's good. We have to have these conversations is important so that people know it's not just about getting your license and taking that course and checking the box.
Somebody said to me when I became a realtor, it was somebody very close to me, a friend of mine, and I love her so much. But she said to me, "You're going to become one of those." Like,
meaning what?
When I said I was becoming a realtor.
Oh, yeah.
Because
the judgment
her interpretation of realtors was
scummy and
whatever.
Right.
It was not good. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? One by one, I'm going to change the
100%.
face of the industry because I know if I behave in a certain way in the world, the way I behave in education, then each person I touch and work with will have a different view. And that's the best I can do.
I totally
That's all I could do.
agree. And I think, of course, there's an amazing feeling when you walk away from the transaction and your clients, they're your biggest fan and they love you and they want to create their relationship. But when I walk away from a transaction and I get a message or a phone call from the agent on the other side saying, it was seriously a pleasure to work with you and I can't wait to do it again, that's the second best feeling.
It is.
Aside from getting from your client. It's because you did your job well. And I love sending that message on the other side of, you were so professional. I would love to have you in my world again. I would love to transact with you again. I would love to make our clients happy. And that is, a secondary feeling from getting that text from your clients is getting that text from other professionals in the industry where we are able to change the narrative a little bit of how good realtors operate in this industry.
So true. And I also realized that, thinking back to when I got my license and when you decided to get your license and I wanted to mentor you, I realized that I always had the fear of falling when I started. Because I didn't know things. And I was so afraid that I was going to do something wrong or cause a problem, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And that took up a lot of my headspace.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know everything and I just didn't yet. So thankfully I did go to, the right people when I needed information and all of that information became mine. But one of the things that I loved about being able to mentor you is that I knew you were never going to fall. You were never going to get in trouble. You were never going to, do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing out of just not knowing.
Right.
And I feel like if I had been locked and loaded with that off the table, that fear of doing the wrong thing, I think my trajectory would have been faster.
Yeah.
And your trajectory was very excellent. And I'm not like tooting my horn. I'm just saying that
you're correct.
Like it made me so happy to be able to raise you in this business without that fear.
Yes. And I think one thing to note again for anyone who's listening that's curious about this world, there is something to be said for, I think, your generation of real estate professionals was very one-track mind, every man for himself. You all worked through the major recession and the economic turmoil and some amazing climates and some not amazing climates. I mean, realtors weren't even accepting each other's friend requests on Facebook. And my generation and what I wanted for myself was I had just graduated. I didn't have colleagues. All my friends were in the corporate world and doing happy hours with their friends. And I really wanted to be connected in my world. And I knew I had you, which was amazing. But going out and making relationships, because you'd been in the industry for years. You had your realtor friends.
Right.
So I went out of my way to really seek out these incredible, high quality, genius, wonderful, smart friends of mine in the industry that I have now that I've learned so much from them too. And in this, environment, what I've been very grateful to experience is that there's room at the top for everybody.
Yes.
And that's who I'm surrounding myself with.
That.
Is, in Level Up, the Level Up Mastermind, and just through my relationships through all of kind of the realtors that started when I did, there's enough, room for growth for everybody. Someone will always have a house to sell. And your clients are going to work with you, and then there's going to be clients who are more aligned to somebody else. We all have our people, and I think that having that growth mindset of a rising tide lifts all ships instead of the no, I can't talk to you because you're also a realtor has really been beneficial.
So great. I love that.
So for anyone considering going into this industry, go in with that mindset. I mean, I had coffee with a colleague at the end of last year, and we shared our business plans. We work in the same market. We shared our business plans. He said, what did you do last year that worked really well for you? And I said, well, I did XYZ. What about you? And he said, I did ABC. And I said, well, maybe I'll try B and you try Y.
Right.
And, we have clients in the same markets. And
I love that. That's so special.
It was really nice. We both left and we were like, whoa, I don't know if other people are doing this, but why not grow together? So I would also, yes, you're quote unquote competing against other folks to get offers accepted and to get clients. But at the end of the day, you go farther together. So I think that was a big mindset shift generationally that I found that also helped me grow a lot.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And
so
I love that mindset. And lastly, in order to maintain your license, just the nuts and bolts, you have to complete 12 hours of continuing education credits.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
CEUs. Continuing education.
I don't know.
I don't know what the U stands for right now.
It's fine.
Maybe it's just CE.
Continuing education.
Yeah, maybe it's just
Point
CEs. We know we do them. We
do them
complete every 2 years.
2 years.
And so just keep in mind, that keeps your license in active status.
Right, exactly.
So other than that, I feel like
and we can get into the world of how we do things, how realtors actually make money, the ins and outs. But just for the basics, this is kind of how you get licensed, our opinions on it. And what you need to do. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out. We're here, again, to be a resource, help you in any way that we can. We are in the works of building our team. So if you align with the way we do things, we're happy to chat. But again, engage with us, interact with us. We're happy to answer anything. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Thanks.
And that's a wrap on today's adventure with the Open Door Podcast. Thank you for letting us share the beauty of Boston and our communities with you. If any of these stories or information has resonated, please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you may listen, and join us on Instagram for a daily dose of valuable information and warmth. From Melanie and Margie Gundersheim, a huge thank you for spending your time with us here. Until next time.